got mail.
Oh yeah. No, I like it.
Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next about hour, along with Nick.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Gal is here.
Hello, everybody.
Hello and happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Katie is here.
Morning.
Morning. Our numbers 919-518-9773, Computers 2K voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
Happy birthday, Gal.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Spence had some medical issues, but seems like they are solving it, but he will not be with us today.
Hopefully he's doing good.
So, what
do you have in stock
happened?
with us for
Huh?
us? Huh? Nothing.
Looks
nothing,
like,
nothing.
This will be relevant to Katie. It looks like TikTok is in the process of being saved.
Yeah, I was trying to get my friend to download the app so I can send her stuff, and it's not in the App Store anymore. But
Wow.
which I was like, no, I finally convinced her to download it, but it's still accessible to people that have it.
You know
So-
what? You know there was a story that I was reading that it is not unbelievable. TikTok is still not available for download from US-based app stores. So some fast-acting entrepreneurs are selling phones
Yeah.
with TikTok preloaded on devices
Jesus.
for thousands of dollars. The Associated Press notes that New York-based Nicholas Matthews listed an iPhone 14 Plus with TikTok for $10,000. As of Friday, he said that his highest bid was $45.50. I mean,
Yeah, but here's the issue with that. So if this is an iPhone, when you log into the phone,
yeah,
so you wouldn't be able to restore the phone to make it yours. You'd have to use this just as like your
I
TikTok
guess.
phone, because you can't. If you did a restore, you would
It's gone.
lose all of that stuff.
Wouldn't it be easier just to connect to a network that spoofs the location? Like,
Well, no, you can't do that on the iPhone because your store account is based on the country that you're in. Yes, it can be done, but you'd have to
Yeah.
create well, not only would you have to create a store
Nope.
account in a different marketplace or a different geographic location. Apple has some restrictions on which phones can be in which marketplaces at the same time. Apple
I
makes
see.
it very complicated to fake out geolocation stuff for exactly the reason that you're describing.
Okay. I'll shift the conversation around that a bit.
Sure.
Epic Store, right? The game. This week they started giving away mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen that?
Is the store in is the Epic Game Store in
So
iOS
that's the
now?
thing. I couldn't find the store on the Play Store.
Nick, I think I
Okay,
sent
and so
it to
I
you.
went to the website. I'm using an Android, right? So no problem.
Yeah.
Apparently, on non-US markets, the Epic
Yes.
Store is probably in the Play
It is.
Store and
Yeah.
the Apple iOS Store. But in the US, because all of the court cases, they weren't in the US, they were in Europe, right? Then, or the ones that they Epic won, and so it exists, but it doesn't exist in the US. So on Android, it's not. You just allow unknown sources, you install it, and you get access. But iOS users in the US, they're barred from it. They can't access it. That's a first. But I think that is the first meaningful action that we see as a result of that. And maybe TikTok will eventually get right the benefit just because of those cases, because finally you'll be able to install something on the iOS that isn't in the App Store, blah, 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 right? So,
Well, the news
interesting.
this morning is that the Trump administration is working on a deal with Oracle, which, by the way, goes back like years now. Like
Yeah, I
if we
remember.
if we rolled this show back like 24 months, the early rumors were that Oracle was the one that was being kind of probed to take over TikTok, and here they are again. It's gonna there's the I don't know exactly what it's gonna look like, but there's apparently some deal where Oracle and some major investors are going to purchase at least a 51% share into TikTok and then gift it to the
Yeah.
government. It's I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go down. Um, but Trump seems adamant in keeping it available. So we'll see what that looks like, I guess.
But
Yeah.
if we talk about the politics of it, right? And you agree, the Trump now is really pro TikTok because
Oh, total
TikTok is
hypocrite.
suddenly pro Trump,
Yeah.
right? So
Well, he realizes that he understands the tool that it was for him, and he understands it's a huge opportunity for him to chat with a voter base that he needs to contact with. So he's absolutely changed his tune, no question about it.
that's fine, but doesn't he see the manipulation that TikTok is doing on him as a curator of content? They're actually convincing him that he's accessible and approachable, right?
Well,
It's
because
in
he
their
is.
control.
Well, it,
Yeah,
it
but
it is in their control, but I mean, this is something that we come back to in like this is something that we talked about in the or I say we used to constantly talk about it in the radio industry with streaming on the A word and the Google Home and the apps on your phone and podcasting. You have to meet the audience where they are, and yes, the manipulation is happening by TikTok, but Trump is meeting the audience where they are, which is TikTok.
but doesn't it go to the same conversation, right? When about Twitter and Facebook being too left wing, right? And manipulating the content that right wing consumers are getting, right? So don't you see the counter action is exactly the same as the original action. It's just right now it suits whoever's in power.
I don't know that I don't know, and I'm not a TikTok user. I never have been. So this might be more of Katie's department, but I don't know that TikTok was ever playing the political game
No.
in terms of what content they were forcing down the throats of their users. Trump just
Well,
was
if
very
you
popular on it, but so was to the Democrats' attempt. So was the Harris campaign and the DNC. They also had very large popular TikTok accounts.
The only time so for the political stuff, I did see some Biden and Harris stuff, but it was because they bought ads on TikTok. So
Sure.
so instead of seeing ads for I don't know, like Lay's chips and Oreos, it was ads for Biden and stuff. But it was just the normal flow of ads. Like they bought the ad space. So it wasn't that I felt like it was being pushed towards me. And you could quickly ignore it. And my content was still the content that I like and what I watch. Every now and then, uh, it will show. I've seen content on both sides. I've seen Republic heavy content and liberal heavy content, and it shows me both. Like it doesn't silence either side. Where I feel like when I use Facebook or Twitter, there is like a big silence and a big push and a constant in your face. If it's in your face on TikTok, this is just from my experience. It's because they purchased the ad space. It's not, which is what any other business would do.
interesting,
Huh?
really interesting.
I mean, there might be some manipulation, but honestly, I don't see things. Things aren't hitting me in the face over and over again like it was on Reddit, like it was on Twitter
Yeah.
years ago. Like that stuff, it's like you couldn't even get away.
I think that's the. I mean, here's the reality: is Trump a hypocrite with the TikTok thing? Absolutely. I'm an adamant Trump supporter, and I can admit that he is a hypocrite on this issue. So, for everybody on the left, congratulations, you've got us in a bind. Whoop de freaking do. The reality is, it's an important app. It's got a huge user base. And if it goes away, something will take its place. And
Mhm.
again, he understands the use case of it now. He understands how to work it, and he's going to try and save it, which is illegal, by the way. There's a court order that the app needs to be banned in the United States. He is woefully circumventing a ruling from the United States Supreme Court, of which he has no precedent to do at all.
Yeah,
Zero precedent.
but that's not new about him personally, right?
Well,
He doesn't
that's
care
not. But
about.
that's not him personally. I mean, the Biden administration was the one that this happened under, and Biden, as the elected president of the United States, said, "I'm not going to do jack shit. We'll leave it for the next guy." I mean, that's literally what he said. I'm going to let the next
Yeah,
guy deal with it, even though the order came down under his watch. So, I mean,
yeah,
that's both parties can accept blame for that. Biden didn't want to touch it because he's a jackass and incompetent, and Trump is now circumventing it because he understands it's a powerful political sword to wield.
yep,
Both of them are woefully ignoring a court. Uh, I guess the only difference you could say is that Trump is at least trying to do something about it with this Oracle partnership thing, which who knows what that's going to look like.
He
Could end
he
up being great, could end up being a disaster. Who knows?
he only extended it by 70 some days, right?
Doesn't matter. You can't extend it. The court
Yeah,
order
I'm
said it
just
was
saying.
banned effective.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's what he's doing is illegal. I mean, well, not illegal. Excuse me. There's no precedent for what he's doing. The same way there wasn't any precedent for Biden to say, yeah, Trump can do it. Deal with it.
Uh,
Which is exactly what he did. Because that came down about 3 weeks ago, the Supreme Court ruling, two Fridays ago, right before the inauguration. So not this past Friday, the Friday before is when the court ordered came down. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I have to, once this is all settled, I do have to create a TikTok.
One of us. One of us.
Yeah, I'm with the new show that I'm doing. I need to I need to use it for the social media algorithm stuff. There's no way
Yeah.
around it.
and
I
nothing
think you're
wrong
gonna
with
like
that.
it. And I'm totally not.
I'm not going to lie. I don't plan on using the app outside of uploading content to it.
No, that's how they start.
well, I think you need to, and I'll explain. If you're putting stuff on TikTok, you need to know how stuff on TikTok looks like. You need to know.
That's true.
You need to know how the audience react. You need to immerse yourself in it, and then your content will be the same content you put on every other social network, but it will also include stuff that you do for TikTok that will pull in the same audience, that will pull in the same sort of views. By the way, TikTok is very, very, very lenient towards new accounts
Yeah.
versus accounts that already create content. So as a new account, right, you're gonna get much more exposure for anything you put for the first few posts, but then it just tapers off and
Sure.
goes by those who reacted to your new content. So so you're going to create basically two accounts. You're going to create an account right now that you're going to dive into it, and then you're going to create a new account where you're going to start working, right? That's the only way you're going to make any meaning out of it. So
yeah,
And-
I'll have to wait until
Yeah.
Or buy
the
a
service is back
$10,000
available.
phone.
or
Well,
you dust
can you
off
upload
your
from the
Android
web?
phone and install
Um,
TikTok.
I
Yeah, you
know-
can.
I know there's a browser for it.
Oh,
I
then
tried.
yeah, I could probably do it that way. I need to look
No,
into
the
that
regular
this week.
browser works. Yeah, yeah,
We
you
need
can-
to talk later about your TikTok strategy because I can get you getting some people
Yeah.
following your account.
Well, I've spent all week doing is trying to find a decent tool to do the and this I think started more on Instagram, and it's now kind of been taken over by TikTok, but the video with the captions that
Yeah.
show up. So I've spent all week finding a decent tool to use that. I thought I found one this morning.
It does it
and I-
itself.
No, it's
So it does.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Instagram does the same thing too. But what I don't want to do is upload a video to TikTok and then download it and upload it to Instagram with the TikTok watermark.
Oh, I see.
So you can
Yeah.
there's software that you can accomplish something similar. And I found a piece of software this morning. I was so excited. It's called CapCut. And I was so excited. I was reading through the website
Oh,
and I
that's a
scrolled all the way
TikTok.
down to the bottom and it said ByteDance. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So it's the same goddamn people that run TikTok.
It was.
And
it
I'm not
was
installing it
made-
on my computer.
It was
I'm not
made
installing
by TikTok for people to easily make memes and copy
Yeah.
videos and stuff.
I scrolled all the way down to the bottom and it says contact us at capcut.support@bytedance.com. I refuse to install that on my desktop. I don't
Give in to our Chinese overlords.
I on my phone is one thing. I really don't want ByteDance software or QChat or WeChat or any of this other stuff on my desktop. Maybe this is the
Sure, but
opportunity for a
that's-
virtual machine.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we have VMs, right?
Yeah. Actually, I probably should install it in a VM.
Nick, did you look?
that's not a bad idea.
Remember the one that we discovered about 2 years ago, 3 years ago? That when we I can't remember
Adobe
the
Premiere does it, which
Huh?
is cool. Adobe Premiere does a thing where it will auto
no, it
caption
was
a
somebody
video.
some company that wrote it, some person that wrote it, and we tried it, and you said, "Wow, this is perfect."
What?
The captions were
Oh, web captioner. Yeah, that's shut down.
oh shit.
But so Adobe Premiere does it built in, which is nice. Unfortunately, I have a less than legal copy of Adobe Premiere that blocks the Adobe server, so the auto transcription, which is part of Adobe Premiere, doesn't work. So it's been a real shit show, to say the least. But we're
That's a
working.
shame because that's the one that's always recommended. I use it for our videos at work.
I'm using it now. I'm using a third-party service to caption, and then the workflow is completely impractical. It's taking me an hour to make a 20-second video.
I think
Um,
what would be more beneficial for you is to find an app that gets rid of the TikTok watermark, because there are applications that do that. So build the video in TikTok, which can
But I don't want
automatically
to build it on my phone. That's the issue. Is these are large video files, and getting the process of getting those to a phone to edit is not. What I'm going to have to do is take the videos, put them into Premiere, size them up to the aspect ratio I want, export them. They're going to be large, then upload them to TikTok, then capture them, then download them, then send them back to the computer. I need a
Hold
workflow.
on. Hold
You
on.
need
Why
an
why
intern.
use Premiere? Let's start with why use Premiere. Why not use something like what's it called, DaVinci, which is free and excellent? Why not use?
Because I already have a copy of Premiere. I mean, it's just
But
that
you don't have a copy. You have a copy. You don't have the license. So why
But
not
the-
use something?
because DaVinci doesn't offer me anything that Premiere doesn't in the version. Like DaVinci doesn't do the auto captioning or any of that stuff built in. So what I'm trying to accomplish is, and I've done it. I mean, I've got a couple videos up on my Twitter account with that style, and it works all right. I'm trying to I just need to. You're right, Kate. I do need an intern. I just need to find, and I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and pay for it, but I just need to find a piece of software or a service or an app that allows me to easily do this
If
without having
you-
to pre-caption things. It's a pain in the ass.
You don't have to buy the whole Adobe suite. You could do a program, just one program, and I think it's $15 a month.
That's what I
I
was
saw
gonna
that
say.
Premiere's expensive though. Premiere's $25 a month, which
Really?
isn't insane, but that's a
Still.
lot.
How
It's
much are you
like
paying for the third party that's doing it now?
Nothing. I mean, I'm using a
Oh,
free
okay.
piece of software called, which actually, by the way, I'll recommend to people. It's called TurboScribe, turboscribe.ai. I use it a lot because I'll listen to press conferences and things like that, and then write articles associated with it. TurboScribe allows you to do up to 3 30-minute transcriptions a day, which
Oh.
is perfect for me. I'm not doing anything more than that on almost ever. The only thing that sucks about TurboScribe, and I know Gal's not going to like it, and I didn't like it either. You have to log in with a Google account. You can't create a standalone account. You have to use a Google or some other service. But it works incredibly well. When you upload something, you get 3 different modes of transcription that you can choose: a good, best, and better, and they take different times depending on that. But I've been I've been very happy. I can show there. I think I can show this.
What's the downside of this? You say it's the
So here
workflow?
is like this is on December 10th. Josh Stein was on ABC News,
Mhm.
and I had a recording of his interview and uploaded it into TurboScribe, and it just transcribed the whole thing. It works really, really well for that.
So how long does it
Um,
take to do something like this?
Minutes,
Okay.
less than.
Okay.
It's very quick. So yeah, there you go. That's my saga. That's what I'm going to be working on over the next week or next couple weeks.
How often do you need to do your videos? Is it like every
I'll
day?
Yeah, ideally 1 or 2 of them per day.
If that's the case, I just bite the bullet and pay for the software
That's
because
kind of that's where I'm leaning. I'm going to give it a couple more days to do a little bit more research and see if I can find something that gets me maybe 90% of the way there. But if not, yeah, I'm just gonna have
because
to bite the bullet,
at
buy for
that point,
pay for
when it
Premiere.
comes to me and figuring out if I should spend my money on something that I know I could do for free somewhere else, it's all about convenience. With
Yes.
Premiere, it's all in one software. You can export it out for social media. It's built for that.
Mhm.
It has the automatic reading over or like the transcript stuff, and it can do subtitles, and you can change the subtitle look to whatever you want so it
Which is
matches the
Yeah, it's
trend.
great.
So
Super good with that.
I would just bite the bullet and do it,
That's
especially if you use it every day.
that's where I'm leaning. So unless I really thought I had it made with this CapCut software this morning. I was so excited. So I'll install that in a VM and see what I don't know how it'll perform in a virtual machine. Um, so I got to take a look and see what it does.
All right. And keep us posted.
Yes, will do.
All right, let's switch here.
Yeah, sorry for taking over the show.
Netflix will raise prices on most US and Canadian subscription tiers after adding a record 19 million subscribers in the fourth quarter of 2024, bringing its global total to 302 million users. Now, the standard plan without ads will increase to $17.99 from $15.49, while its premium tier rises $2 to $24.99. The ad-supported tiers will cost $7.99, which is a dollar up. The streaming service's quarterly revenue topped at 10 billion. Yeah, they making money, but they taking our money. So it's they keep on raising and raising, and I guess they will see where they have to stop. As long as nobody's bitching big time, they're gonna keep on rising.
They are bitching big time. I mean, the Netflix
Uh,
subscriber count is not something that is growing at a rapid rate.
well, I mean, I
But
haven't.
they're doing enough because they coined that deal with the NFL. They had that huge the boxing match thing was a disaster. Um, but I mean they had a Christmas on Christmas they had an NFL game. Um, so they're doing something.
It just
Huh?
means I'm gonna cancel Netflix and only subscribe when something good comes on.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I mean
mean
it's
subscribe and
essentially.
unsubscribe, subscribe and
Yeah,
unsubscribe.
that's what I do with all the other channels, or is like when a show comes out, I subscribe, or they get me deals. Like when I leave, they're like, "Oh, well, for $5 you can have an extra 3 months," and I'm like, "Okay." And then what Peacock did, I was leaving Peacock, and they're like, "Here for $20 you can get the whole year," and I was like, "Okay."
Huh? Nice. If it works, hey.
The
Um,
subscription count, right? Looking By the way, one of the ways to get quick data is just search in image search, because then you say, I'm looking for Netflix subscription growth in Google Images, for example, and then what you get graphs from a lot of content, right? And you look at the growth rate. They're still growing. They've never stopped growing, but these few couple of years, it's tapered off. It's become a plateau. Sorry. So um, it'll happen again and again and again. We'll see it.
Yeah.
And the moment they start dipping down, let's say for a whole year, right, or maybe only after a couple of years, that is when they'll start trying to do something else. Because up until now, they've been creating more content. They've been rather successful in that for a while, right? And then when the other streaming services came on, um, they started playing with what is acceptable in the market, right? The fact that they added ads and all that, uh, and yeah, and they'll keep raising on. I mean, if we look at how cable worked since the late 80s or maybe mid 80s, that's when cable started in the US, right? And I think it was the same thing. The first you got cable, you got it for rather cheap. It wasn't like a huge expense when you got it for the first time. uh but then as the time grew, it just became this hefty bill item. So I don't think it's any. The thing is, Netflix, HBO Max, all of these, they're not. When we were talking about cutting the cord, right? They were never about cutting the cord. They were about replacing the cord. And so I think that's still the case. Nothing has changed there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
It is easier. It is easier to connect and disconnect, right? Like Katie said, I can do a month. I don't need to talk with anybody to subscribe or unsubscribe. But it's I don't think the behavior has really changed. Yeah.
Oh, you do what you have to do. All right, listen to this. Back to office, right? It's a big deal. So Amazon has angered its workers again after forcing them to return to the office 5 days a week. The problem? Not enough desks for everyone, as well
Yes,
as packed parking lots that are
of course.
turning some workers away. I mean, I
Right,
guess
because
what
even
they
even when it was the custom to go to the office,
right,
there would be those, right, who would, yeah, sure, you can work one day from home or something,
uh
right?
huh,
There would be those who will get uh the accommodation was really really simple, but now it's enforced. Now it's part of the review process, right? Where you say, we don't see you coming 5 times a week, right? It's part of the 6 month review or whatever
mm-hmm,
of the employee, and suddenly it's become front center when it needs to be probably number 10 on the list of priorities, right? It's not. It's important, but not that important. But because it's an issue, it becomes number one, and You're measured by it, and yeah, it's a problem.
well, I
It's
was
definitely a
thinking
problem.
more that they kept on hiring people when people were working from home and they didn't realize, hey, we have a lot
Oh,
more
they
employees.
realized. Oh, they realized. I
No.
I know from the company that I'm now leaving, right? It's the 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 building. The building got we got the brand new building like August of 2019. Okay, so and work was continuing on finishing one of the floors because we got it, we moved in, but not everything was done yet, right? So around the end of 2020, or maybe even the beginning of 2021, that's when the building was completely ready as it was supposed to be at the beginning of 2020. Work on it was done slowly. So you got this office space, right? That they paid for, that can host around, I don't know, 300 people. You today have probably 350 people assigned to that office,
Mhm.
right? That are supposed to work from that office.
Yeah.
And nobody's doing anything about it because, yes, for the past 3 years, right, the offices are mostly empty. You get some teams that are coming on Tuesday, you get some teams that are coming on Wednesday, you get some teams that are coming on, and but it never fills up. So
Yeah,
if
you
you now
can, but
say
you can always put a note on the bulletin board that says, "Girls, my lap is ready. You know, you can sit with me."
Oh
you'll
my
do that, you'll
god.
get fired. But
What a
yeah,
problematic thing to
Amnon, you
say.
need to refresh your. We're not hiring you, man.
Yeah. Um, a British museum was partly closed after a dismissed IT contractor trespassed, shutting down systems, including its ticketing platforms. The move disrupted operation and forced the closure of temporary exhibitions. While the museum will remain open this weekend, only a handful of tickets holders will be able to access it, paid for to access its paid for exhibitions. So here is some, I mean, I'm waiting to hear what happened. What happened to this employee? I mean,
Well, he was already let go.
he was let go, but I mean, he did something illegal here. I mean, big time illegal, trespassing and causing
Yeah,
I think that's,
for sure, he's got in trouble.
yeah, hopefully. And there are also in the same, the FBI warns this week that North Korean IT workers are abusing their access to steal source code and extort US companies that have been tricked into hiring them. I guess that's, they're talking about online uh, contract or whatever. The
Yeah.
security service alerted public and private sector organizations in the United States and worldwide that North Korea's IT army will facilitate cyber criminal activities and demand ransoms not to leak online exfiltrated sensitive data stolen from their employers' network. North Korean IT workers have copied company code repositories such as GitHub to their own user profiles and personal cloud accounts. While not uncommon among software developers, this activity represents a large scale risk of theft of company code. I think they mentioned that it didn't happen yet, but this is a possibility that that's what they're going to do. Well,
Yeah, it feels like this is like some. First of all, there's nothing new in this, right? The only fresh aspect of it is just saying, instead of Russia or China, saying North Korea.
well,
There's like a
yeah.
it's like a red flag notice, but nothing about whether the government is trying to do something specific about it. Nothing about whether there's anything to, no, nothing about how to identify it. Not right. It's I don't know. It's there's a risk. Great. What do you want to do about it?
Yeah,
Right.
there's always,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we see,
Uh,
theoretically, a U.S. based company, right? When they're looking for workers, one of the first questions is, are you eligible? Are you allowed to work in the States, right? And not only that, it depends on the contracts that you have. Sometimes you must be even be a citizen, right? I'm going
and
through this whole
that's
process right now.
and that's also applies to online workers that are in another country.
Well, that's the thing. Where are you hiring? If you're hiring in the US, even if it's a remote job, you're
Right.
still
Okay.
paying in the US, and you must be based in the US. And so you must be allowed to work in the US. It
Okay.
doesn't matter if you're physically in another place, you still need to be allowed to work in the US.
Okay.
So you need to
Yeah.
go through the process of validating social security numbers and stuff like that when you get hired, right? So if they're talking about a system that will help prevent it, sort of a firewall against illegal work,
Hmm.
right? Then great. But they're not talking about that. They're talking about sort of hacking, targeting, blah blah. Okay, give me tools, right? You're saying that this is happening. Give me tools.
Yeah, it's something to worry about. That employers need to worry about it when they're hiring, and it's just keep it in the
Yeah.
back of your head. Here's something that doesn't make sense. The manufacturer of a machine that costs six figures used during heart surgery has told hospitals that it will no longer allow hospitals' repair technicians to maintain or fix the devices, and that all repairs must now be done by the manufacturer itself, according to a letter. The changes will require hospitals to enter into repair contracts with manufacturers, which will ultimately drive up medical costs. And they're saying that these were people that work in the hospital that were certified by
Yeah,
the
train. Yeah.
manufacturer.
Yeah.
This makes no sense to me. I mean, how long is it going to take this manufacturer to send somebody when this machine stops working while they
Well,
have
it's not. I don't, that's not the issue I'm bumping at. Is first of all, it sounds like some sort of monopoly.
it
Okay,
is.
let's let's look at who's publishing. Let's start with that. Okay, one, I don't think it's anything new. A company that says I don't want to use uh, um, certified employees of yours. I don't trust them anymore, or something like that. Now, if the company is a private company, right? Then they probably won't get any backlash from shareholders, right? Like something like this. Uh, if they are creating something so unique that no other competitor does, then obviously they're flexing their muscles here, thinking that they can get away with it. And I don't know, Nick, is it the FTC that will try to slap them in something like this, or will it be another body?
If it's anybody, it would probably be probably end up being the FTC.
Right. And
Is
so,
my
and
guess.
we've seen the FTC being slapped around lately, right?
Sure.
Getting less and less power. So I'm guessing it's them flexing and trying to see if they can, if they can beat the FTC in this next match that's coming up. It's hubris, right? We agree it's wrong, but they're going to see if they can make it legal. And yeah, uh,
Eh, the-
it's exactly the same as raising the prices on AIDS medication, right? That we've seen what six,
What are you
7
talking
years
about?
ago.
You talking about old Martin Scully or whatever his name is?
Yeah,
uh, yeah,
yeah.
but I
I
mean,
mean,
but I mean,
business will try to be business.
but the thing that maybe we're missing here, these people that are working in the hospital were
Yeah, they paid the hospital paid
trained.
money to train them. I
They
agree.
were
I understand.
trained by the company, by the manufacturer, and they were certified by the manufacturer to do
Yeah.
this.
But they probably the hospital also probably signed a contract saying that the company can decide to change the terms
Well, yeah,
later
we don't
or
know.
something, right?
That's
It's like that's the thing. If we're talking about morals, you're completely right. Morally, it's completely bankrupt. It's like the most terrible choice ever. But business has nothing to do with morals, right? And this company probably can allow themselves business wise to do that.
yeah.
We'll see
I'll
where it
see
takes
if
them.
there will be any updates to
Yeah.
see. But this, I read it and I said, "What the hell?"
By the way, no names, no name of the
No,
company, no name.
no,
That's weird, right?
yeah.
What sort of reporting is this?
Uh,
Yeah, like, are you telling me something so I'll just get annoyed,
This is
or
this is coming
are you
from
warning me?
this is coming from 404 Media. I don't know. Anyway, um, we need to start worrying. On Tuesday, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei predicted that AI models may surpass human capabilities in almost everything within 2 to 3 years, according to a Wall Street Journal interview at the World Economic Forum in Davos.
Ah,
Is that
yes.
including making coffee?
I don't know. Speaking at
Good.
Journal House in Davos, he said, I don't know exactly when it'll come. I don't know. I don't think it will be a whole bunch longer than 20. I don't know if it's 2027. I think it's plausible it would be longer than that. I don't think it will be a whole lot much longer than that when AI systems are better than human at almost everything. Better than almost better than almost all humans at almost everything, and then eventually better than all humans at everything, even robotics.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I
he
mean,
doesn't
it'll
have.
happen. Can we do something about it? Can we make sure that they're better at it for humanity instead of
Well, I mean,
for profit,
I'm
right?
sure that when things start happening, then these things will come to the top of a list, and somebody will talk about them. Right
Yeah, but that's
now,
too late.
it's predictions. It's getting to talk about you.
Right,
I
but it's too late
yeah.
when you reach the point where the systems are already out there, then that's too late. That's why you need to talk about these predictions. Are you supposing something, right? If we go to 50s science fiction, right? Asimov wrote about robotics and the entire idea. His whole writing was fear about where this can go, and he started with where everything is set and based on the three laws of robotics, right? And those were ethical rules. They weren't technical rules, they were ethical rules. And if we are going to move forward, then it's critical, right? That these potentially superior intelligence, right? Practically alien intelligence, right? Not human generated logic, but something that is generated out of a different set of processes. Um, if that's going to be getting more and more control, right? What type of morals, right? Are they going to work based on it? It's going to
God,
be a
I don't want to
moral.
cut you short, but it's 10 till 10.
No, that's yeah.
Oh,
This is
you
the one
keeping
I'm.
okay?
So,
You as long
yeah.
as yeah.
So that's right. The the software engineer today that are working on these building those large language models and AI based technology, they now need to be like the head of staff needs to be a philosophy major, right? It needs to be morals are starting to be embedded into it. And we do not see that, right? We do not see everybody saying, calm down, it's not, we're not there yet. But this is the time to talk about it. This is the time to start doing something about it. I'm not saying regulation, I'm saying self regulation. I'm saying if you are selling me a model, right? Tell me how it's not going to take over my business,
Yeah.
right? Because it doesn't seem that anybody is worried about that part yet or at all. So,
Well, I
if you
guess
want
we'll
to talk
wait and
about
see.
advancement, if you want to talk about advancement, 23 of January, OpenAI, they launched for their Pro. The Pro is the $200 a month
Mhm.
subscription. They launched a version of I think O1 is their most sophisticated model. they launch a version where O1 has its own browser. So
Right.
you ask it, you tell it, right? Um, Go online, find me 4 offers for, I don't know, machinery for the factory. These are what I'm looking for. And make offers choose one and make an offer. So it can take over the entire process completely,
Oh.
right? And it's getting better at it. And eventually it'll be better than letting a human deal with it, right? A human will stop even watching over its shoulder. So is it for human benefit, or is it for just profit? And that's where we need to fear, right? Because if it's just for profit, then eventually it's for profit for the machinery that is actually running, for the AI, for the
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
Yeah.
On this note, I'm
Okay.
gonna exit. So see you next week.
See you, go.
See you,
Bye. Happy
guys.
Good luck.
birthday.
Good luck.
Bye
Happy
bye.
birthday. Bye. There is an interesting uh, article here. The global smartphone market is spitting, I was going to say, splitting into 2 distinct segments, with the mid range segment seeing its market share plummet from 35% in 2021 to a projected 23% by 2027, according to analysis of data compiled by Goldman Sachs. The collapse of the mid range segments, the $200 to $600 phones, marks a stark reversal from 2021 2022, when it held a steady 35% market share. While mid-end segment used to provide balance between outstanding specifications and high performance cost ratio, the demand has been declining due to the lack of revolutionary technology upgrades and more conservative consumption of middle class amid Marco challenges. Apparently, a lot people are not looking for the uh, mid. They say, "Oh, we don't even need that. We'll go to something cheaper than that because there's nothing new that I need to use here. I want a
It,
phone." And
they're
the other side
competitors.
buys all the expensive. Sorry, what did you say, Katie?
I was gonna say the Apple and Android and all that stuff, they had an advantage because all their stuff was so advanced, but now everybody else is caught up. So you can get a cheaper phone that has, that passes muster for stuff. So there's no point in spending $1,300 every year on a new phone,
Yeah,
which
but
is ridiculous.
there are people that do that.
I know they're crazy.
It's the thing that is disappearing is the middle kind of, and the mid. I mean, people that buy the expensive ones are probably people that either they get paid by the company to get a new phone or they have money to waste or whatever. The people that bought the middle are people that just want to get more for their money but save money. So I guess we're going to have to, again, we're going to have to wait and see what it does to the market. But it's interesting. Um we were talking a couple of weeks ago about Blu-ray discs. So Sony will cease production of recordable Blu-ray discs at its last factory in February. They were doing it for making they stopped making consumer recordable Blu-ray and optical discs in mid 2024, maintaining production only for business clients. So now even business clients uh, support is they're going to stop. Okay, that's it. No more.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going the way
Oh,
of DVD. They're
that
just gonna
Blu-ray,
disappear.
Blu-ray.
No, I know, but it's going the way of DVD. Like how
Oh,
DVDs
yeah.
have disappeared, and now Blu-rays are gonna disappear because everything's digital.
And here is something else that doesn't make sense. Google will take firmer action against British businesses that use fake reviews to boost their star rating on the search giant's reviews platform. The UK Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, announced on Friday that Google has agreed to improve its processes for detecting and removing fake reviews and will take action against the businesses and reviewers that post them. Why
I
am I
wonder how it
saying
knows.
how is this doesn't make sense to me? Why?
Why posting fake reviews?
No, that's not the point. The point is why do this? Why get better to do it only against British businesses? Why not do it across the board? What about the United States? Are you
Well,
saying
it might it so if they're doing a test run, it doesn't say they're not gonna do everywhere. It's just if they're gonna try to figure this out, they're gonna go to a smaller market to hone the software in, and then they
good
expand.
point?
It's the same reason why Netflix is like, "Oh, we're raising prices in the UK or Canada, but not in the US," and then a year later they raise them in the US.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. If this is the case, then it's okay with me. But I'm saying, what?
Yeah, I my guess is that so if they're doing the detection thing, it sounds like they have to train a model or they just have to just do a lot of testing, and so this is they're gonna test with the UK, a smaller market, and then expand.
Yeah. All right. I know. In that case, I didn't think about this. Good thinking, Katie.
Every now and then I have a good thought.
And a recent poll from the Pew Research Center shows more and more teens are turning to ChatGPT for help with their homework. And there are
Yeah!
three things to know. According to the survey, 26% of students ages 13 to 17 are using the artificial intelligence bot to help them with their assignments. Then that that's double the number from 2023 when 13% reported the same habit when completing assignment. And number 3, comfort level with using ChatGPT for different types of assignments vary among students. 54% found that using it to research new topics, for example, was an acceptable use of the tool. But only 18% said the same for using it to write an essay.
I used when I was taking summer classes
Yeah.
at the local community college, I used ChatGPT all the time. A lot of it was just asking it questions and like trying to understand terms because the professor is great, but they take a while. They're a human, so they take a while to get back. But if I have a simple question, I can just Google it, or I could just ask ChatGPT. Like there was some complicated terms that I was getting confused on, like in what instances do they apply, and I just opened up ChatGPT and I was like, "Hey, what about this?" And then it just straight up told me, and then I had my book open so I could reference it to make sure what they're saying is legit, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's right." So, it was just it's like having a teacher's assistant. Granted, again, it's AI, if it can't find the information, it's gonna make it up, but, uh, if you have the textbook and you're smart and savvy about it, you can fact check it, and it was also great too for brainstorming ideas, like, when I had an assignment, it was like, "Oh, you need to do this thing." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Well, let me bounce some, ideas around to figure out what I wanna do for this assignment." And I would ask ChatGPT, like, what do you think?" And they would give me a list of things, and I'm like, "Huh," and then it helps me pick a direction. So
So you used it in a smart way and didn't rely on it, but it was helping.
no, yeah, it was a teacher's assistant.
Yeah, nice.
And then I would ask it questions too, like, when I got a question wrong, I'd be like, here's what I got wrong. Can you explain why?" And it was like, "Oh, yeah, this is probably why," and blah, 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 and then I was like, "Oh, okay."
All right.
It's a great tool. I mean, kids got it easy nowadays in school.
Yeah, we used to say, well, you have a calculator, you have it easy. Look now.
Oh, yeah. No, this AI stuff, man. Oh, when I was doing my assignments, I was like, "Oh, I don't have to sit here and, like, cross-reference the book over and over again, or like go to the appendix and find this, and then go here and reference that. I just ask ChatGPT and it tells me right away, and I was like, "Oh my, it's so easy."
So, in the same direction, consumer spending on apps is projected to reach 115 billion
Jesus.
globally in 2024, up 13% from prior year.
Does that include
Ac-
so is
ac-
that when
ac-
they okay, go ahead.
According to Sensor Tower annual State of Mobile report, it's being fueled by 200% surge in spending on generative AI apps like ChatGPT and Gemini, which collectively drew 1.1 billion.
Yeah, I pay for ChatGPT.
Well, and
Well,
that's, I mean, the reality is like software as a service has existed for quite some time.
yeah,
And most, like, you go back 10 or 15 years, most software as a service things were completely unaffordable, right? I mean, like hundreds of dollars a month, and they were for large institutions and companies and things like that. But now you look at, Katie, you're probably familiar with like Canva. What's
Yeah,
Canva, like 10 bucks a month? And
it's
it's
yeah.
killed Photoshop. I mean, like,
It's
it,
killed casual Photoshop.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Which is, by the way, I've been using Photoshop for years. I love Photoshop. I'm very good at using Photoshop. I do most of my work now in Canva because it's just easier. And I can do it on, and yes, I do have Photoshop installed on all of my computers, but it's just easier to do stuff in Canva than it is to load up Photoshop, create a blank document, and go from there for some things, not for everything.
Yeah,
But it's completely democratized these things for, like, I think it's what, 10 bucks a month or 12 bucks a month. So I'm not sure how much
something
Canva is.
like
I have
that.
the free account. But it's great. So, and if you're getting any sort of value out of it, you're going to purchase it. I mean, like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, I'm going to find a software that's going to do whatever, if whatever service is going to help me make my life a little bit easier, and I'm going to pay $10 to $20 a month for it.
Yeah,
That's going to be what it is.
I applications and technology for me, I don't mind paying a premium if it's convenient because I value my time. So that's the same reason why I went with a bamboo 3D printer. They're a lot more expensive. I mean, you can get a cheaper model, but it's convenient. It's so hands off. So I paid the premium so that I can be doing other stuff. And Canva, it's convenient and affordable for the casual person. Now for a professional, you can't do as much custom work as you do in Photoshop. In Photoshop, you can do whatever the hell you want. But it has a steep learning curve, and it's for professional designers essentially. But another thing with Canva that I actually used this week at work, so we wrote up a script for a video, and we were waiting on the voiceover artist to get back to us on reading the script, but I needed to finish the video edits. So I was looking for AI software that would say the script without
Mhm.
sounding too robotic. We're not gonna use it, the audio, but I just need it so I can edit to it. And Canva turned out to be the easiest option. So on Canva, you can download plugins or whatever, have access to third party plugins, and one of them was like AI stuff that would read scripts out loud, and it sounded a little bit like a robot, but it was pretty good. And you have to pay or have the premium subscription to download the audio file, but I just screen captured it, so I had it read it out loud, and my computer screen captured the
huh?
screen because all I needed was the audio. There's no video. So,
There's more than one way to skin a cat.
yeah, but talk about Canva. Yeah, Canva's making things easy.
It is. And I mean, when I'm making like more complex graphics, I'm doing them in Photoshop. But when I'm doing um like little promo graphics for my show now, I'm making them in Canva. I mean, I made this one in, not that this would have been hard to make in Photoshop, but I put this out on Twitter on whatever day it was. Canva already had the template made. I just added the text and it was done. Better than making it myself or scouring the internet for a PSD to copy the template on. It took me 2 minutes to make.
Yeah, Canva, I think their core audience are social media people, or people that are
Sure.
making content for social media because it's quick
'Cau
and easy and high
and you can do it from
quality.
anywhere,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
nice. I haven't used it a lot, but in a pinch when I needed to do something and I wasn't home, their mobile app is surprisingly usable. Like Photoshop's mobile app is is tough. There's
Oh,
too
yeah.
much going on in it. It's very hard to use.
It's but
Canva's mobile app, phenomenal.
yeah. Dude, and Photoshop, they've taken so long to make an app. Like, in the meantime, Procreate's come out for and the iPad, and, like, all their
Mhm.
competitors have created mobile versions or versions for iPads,
Yeah.
and Photoshop was, like, 10 years too late.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff it's and, the craziest part about it is the argument used to be, well, like, oh, well, you just buy Photoshop outright. It's like, 3 or 400 bucks and you get your copy, you have, CS3 and you have it forever. But that doesn't even exist anymore.
No.
So you're choosing now whether you're paying, $100 a month for Adobe Creative Cloud or $12 here, $15 there, $30 there on three or four different services that may be easier to use. And again, it all depends on your use case. If you're a hardcore graphic designer, you're using Illustrator and Photoshop still.
Yeah.
But I would even argue, Katie, I'd say it's even more than the casual user. I think you're starting to get into the um, semi-professional realm with some of these other services. Not full on professional. If you're working in a print
Yeah.
shop, you're not using Canva, obviously.
No. Yeah, I
Um,
think, I I could see big companies using it. Well, so my company uses Canva, but they use it for internal stuff. So, like,
mhm.
when HR needs to make an announcement for employees, they'll use Canva. Um, we don't we we don't use Canva for actual company social media stuff because we just need to like, we need to put character art, we just need to put our actual company artwork on there. But if a designer, but we have all trained in Photoshop, so it's easier for us to use in Photoshop. That doesn't mean that somebody couldn't do it in Canva because they might be able to. Um, but we're just not trained in it. So if we hire like a new person and they're trained in Canva, then maybe they can just start. Like, I could see it taking over some stuff in the industry.
Well, and that's going to be the thing is as you've got this, Katie, we're relatively young, but we're not that young in regards to this newer technology. I mean, you go even 3 or 4 years down the line when you're hiring, not graphic artists, it's probably the wrong term to use, but when you're hiring somebody that's doing some level of graphics, they there's a very strong possibility they will not be familiar or super familiar with Photoshop and Illustrator, but they are super familiar with Canva and some of these other things, and that might be enough.
Yeah.
Because there's what if you're 14 years old right now and kind of getting into some of this stuff, yes, it's good to learn and use Photoshop, but damn, some of these other tools offer 90% of what they do and
Mhm.
they're web based, which is super convenient.
All right.
The same way that
Th-
Google is taking over the Google's going to end up putting Office 365 out of business because they've trained an entire generation that use Google Classroom into the Gmail suite.
Also, it's free. I switched over. I used to use Microsoft Office and all that stuff, and they just made it such a pain in the butt, and it's not convenient, or it wasn't when. And then Gmail came out, or Google Docs came out, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is so easy!" I just have to log into my Gmail account, and I have access to it right there. It's all browser based. I don't have to download anything, and I just got used to using it. And now a lot of the works have switched over from
Mhm.
Microsoft's suites over to Google Business.
Yeah. And they will have that marketplace now because every single person, every single young person in middle and high school right now, for the most part, is using Google Classroom. But I'd say probably at least 80%, if not more. And so the transition from Google Classroom to Google Apps for Business is seamless. It's the same thing, just a different name and different features. So that's a serious issue for Microsoft, because you'll say, oh, do you know Word, Excel, and all this stuff? No, but I know Google Drive. I know Sheets. I know Writer, I think is what, I don't remember. Yeah, I think Writer maybe is what their word processor is called, whatever. And they're not the only ones. I'm using Zoho Writer, which is their equivalent to Google Docs. Docs is what it's called. Theirs is called Zoho's is called Writer, and it's great and it's free.
Can you open it in Word?
You can you can download a copy of it that will open in Word, I'm sure. Let's see. I go over here, file, and download as Microsoft Word doc, PDF, open document, ODT, which is the like LibreOffice and those open source, rich text file,
But not
HTML
DocX?
or EPUB. DocX, yeah, is the first one.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah, Microsoft Word DocX.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
right
you can.
immediately.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that,
But Gabe's right. I mean, why? And Microsoft has this with, I do still use Office for the work I do over with the Carolina Journal, but I haven't used physical copies of Word in a very long time. My last two places I've worked, our Office subscription did not come with the did not come with licenses to download the copies of Word and Excel. It was the web version, which immediately I didn't like, but now I'm perfectly comfortable using it. So,
all right.
software as a service.
Software as a service. Anything else anybody wants to add that we need to wind down here?
Nope.
All right. All right. Well, thanks, Nick. Thanks, Katie. And thanks, Gal. And Spence, if you're listening, get well soon. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna. Donna. Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov and Yael. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner, and change any same passwords everywhere you use them or anywhere you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 a.m., Nick hosts the Carolina Journal News Hour on WBT 1110 a.m. and 99.3 FM. And it's on YouTube. And Nick also does the Nick Craig Show every weekday from 7 till 8 at nickcraig.com. Just go to Nick Craig and find the information. And Nick and Brian host the Infection Podcast every week on Twitch. Gaming, survival games, political points, all around fun show. Just go to infectionpodcast.com and find out when is the live show. Or you can just download. And the same goes all the rest. If you want to download Nick's show, it's on nickcraig.com. Have a great week. Keep warm. Be with you again next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, and deltaforce.net.